In this video, I'm going to show you how to add a pop of color with RGB fairy lights and a little controller called WLED. These lights are considered addressable pixels because they can be any color independently, and you can use them for patterns and any kind of special effects that you can imagine. Alrighty, these are from BTF Lighting. This is the fairy light string. It is 5 volts and 50 LEDs. Max power is 10 watts, so it doesn't use that much. And you can see there is a female connector and a male connector. And it also comes with a male pigtail. These are a node MCU, they're called. And this one is called a D1 Mini. It's got a micro USB connector on here. I'm just gonna plug that in. We're gonna live dangerously. All right, so the first thing I wanna do is install WLED. So let's do that. So all I did was Google WLED install, and you can see it says it's gonna take me to install.wled.me. And you go there, and you select which version you want. Of course, I want the latest version. And all I have to do is click install, and it will find where my board is. That's the one that's connected, I guess. It's the only one that shows up. So it finds the ESP chip. Install WLED. I want to install. It's obviously going to erase all the data on the device. You can see that blue light is blinking. And you can see that it is blinking as it is uploading whatever it is that it's uploading. All right, installation is complete. That didn't take very long at all. So at this point, it prompts me to configure Wi-Fi. And it is connected to my network. Let me see if I click visit device. You can see the IP address is shown there. And I am actually connected right now. The blue light is on, indicating that if there were lights connected to this, they'd be on right now. So if I click power, that should go off, and it does. All right, I'm gonna disconnect this from my USB cable because I'm done with the computer. But here you can see it has 2 wires, 2 leads for power injection. And there's one has a red line on it. That is positive, and this one is ground. And this runs on 5 volts. These are 5 volt LEDs, and this device runs on 5 volts. I have this little plug-in 5 volt power supply that I bought for this kind of a project just to play around with, and it came with, you know, different ends, but I stripped them off. The red one is the positive side, and the other one is negative, or ground. All right, those are connected. Now the pigtail has 3 leads, and you can see there's a red line on the one. And that is, obviously, that's going to be the plus 5 volts. The middle one is going to be data, and the other one is going to be the ground. Okay, so forget data for a moment. So these 2 wires here connect to those 2 wires there. So I can use those 2 leads to power the node MCU. But here we have, this pin says 5V on it for 5 volts. This one says G, that's for ground. And then there's another pin here that says D4. That's actually the one we want. That's going to be the one for the data. It's very short. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try a different pigtail that I have. Okay, so those are the way, that's the 3 of them. Okay, now I just need to plug in my 5 volt adapter. Oh, and look at that. Not only does the blue LED go on over here, but you see I have some lights on these. They come up as orange. That is the default that you'll always get with WLED. All right, now I have WLED up here, and you can see it says orange. If I just change it to red or blue or any other color, it will come out here, but it comes out by default. It comes out orange. Now, you can also see, hopefully, that this last LED here is not lit. Because by default, when you come into WLED, let's go into LED preferences. By default, it says total LEDs are 30. So it's hard-coded to 30 is the length of the string. So I'm actually going to change this to 50. And every other setting, the defaults here work fine. So I'm going to save that. And now they are all blue. You can see that last LED is also blue because it knows there's 50 on the string now. Let me turn the brightness down because it just overpowers the camera. Number 1 is usually the foreground and number 2 is the background. So I'm going to just choose green and red for Christmas colors. And if I come over to effect, let's see, that one is called Android, and you can see that it is a kind of a chase pattern. Candy cane is a standard, that's always white and red. Again, I can turn down the brightness and I can chase 2 colors as well, and you'll see that the red and green are chasing. We'll set number 3 to blue. And if you choose chase 3, you'll see it introduces all 3 colors. There is the fairy twinkle the way that I like it, with it mostly red with a little bit of green mixed in there. Now let's say we like that one and I want to make a preset out of it. I come over to the presets, create preset, fairy twinkle, and I want to use current state, so make sure that's checked. Click save preset. Now I can always come back to this anytime I want. So that preset is preset number 1. Now let's say I really like that one and that's the one I want it to come on to all the time by default. So what I can do is I can remember number 1, come back to config, LED preferences, and if I scroll down here, it says apply preset 0 at boot. I'm going to say apply preset 1 at boot. And save. And now I'm going to disconnect my 5-volt power supply and the lights go off, and then I'm going to plug it back in again, and you're going to see it goes right back to that same effect because I set that as a preset. I said I want it to always go to that when it powers on. So I soldered the pigtail onto the Node MCU so it doesn't come loose anymore, and I realized that I don't need to power it with a power supply like this. I can just plug it into a normal micro USB cable and power it with one of these things, which used to come with every iPhone, so I have a ton of them. And that's it. That's enough power for something small like this. It probably wouldn't drive, you know, a much higher wattage of string, but these little ones, no problem at all. All right, so I have this set up with a bunch of presets, and this is one of my favorites. This one is called Colored Twinkles RGB, and this is red, green, and gold. And that's what my wife and I like, and it's just a subtle blink that's not obnoxious, and that's what we like about it. If you want, you can just do solid green, you could do solid red, or you could even do red and green. But if you want something a little bit more exciting for the kids, this one is called Candy Cane. It's just red and white that scroll through. And this one is red and green chasing each other. This is called a theater setting. And this is an interesting one. This one is one of my favorites. It's called Cinelon Dual. And you can see it goes in both directions with a red to gold to green and back again. It's actually really pretty cool. But a big difference it makes when you turn it off versus when it's on. It definitely makes a nice effect. Let me come down this end of the string and I will show you the magic. And all that it is this little controller is right here, and that's where the string is plugged into. And on the other end you can see there is a micro USB connector, and that plugs right into this little USB charger right here in the wall. And I just stick it under here so you don't see that blue light. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of the blue light. So stick that there, cover it up, and everything is hidden. Now the greenery on the railing is much more complicated than this one. This is just a very simple green garland that we got on Amazon. We got 3 of them for this mantle here, and it's just a nice, soft, very realistic. But this looks awesome on this fireplace when we're sitting here watching TV with the fire going at night. It's just a wonderful ambiance here. So these little lights are really inexpensive and they add so much to your decorating. I will leave links to all the products that I use down in the video description. And if you have any questions, please leave me a comment. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I'll see you in the next one.